Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. How do you know it's October 1982? We were last reading the latest issue of Electronic Games magazine. Let's still continue our quest playing everything. Starting with checking out a Radio Shack catalog and playing something brand new. This is on the TRS-80 color computer and we're going to play Earthquake. Now this would mark our 137th game on the Radio Shack color computer, starting with an advertisement because that's all I have, at least for this version. This is by Aardvark, along with a lot of the other releases we've seen on this page. Earthquake's down at the bottom by Bob Anderson and Roger Olson. It's a second kids adventure, and we've seen another one that they've done as well. You're trapped in a shopping center during an earthquake. It's the kids game where you do an earthquake? Okay, I'll take that. But that's all we have for artwork. And kind of a little cheating because this game, this Earthquake game, is not found on the Color Computer Archive. All I have for Earthquake on the TRS-80 is the electronic book called Earthquake on your TRS-80 color computer. So this is not the Earthquake we want. And I couldn't find the copy on the TRS-80 of this Earthquake. But do not fear, do not fret. It was released on several home computers, including the Commodore VIC-20. Let's check out Earthquake. Here you go, the box for Earthquake. This is a later release that Mogul did when it was released in Europe, and at least the cassette case for Earthquake. Not to be confused with Earthquake San Francisco 1906, which we've already played. This one is a different one.
Atari video computer system.
What other artwork do we have for Earthquake? I want there they go, the cassette case, nice. And then some screenshots for us, beautiful. Let's pop in and play Earthquake. This is by Bob Anderson and Roger Olson, published by Aardvark 80 originally, and then later by Mogul Communications in Europe, the beginning of October 1982. This one is Aardvark, or Aardvark Technical Services' 16th game we played here on the show. And Bob Anderson, we've already seen him do Haunted House in August 1982. It was one of the other kid-style games. Roger Olson, though, did a lot of work on the Ohio Scientific first that we didn't play, that home computer. And then on the show, we've seen him do Quest in November 1981, Mars in May 81, Pyramid in May 81, Slash Ball in August 81, Death Ship in May 81, and Killerbot in February of 82. So we've seen quite a bit from Roger Olson. And you can see right now it's a text adventure game that we're going to be playing for this one. And this is released on lots of other home computers besides this one. You can also find it on the Commodore PET, the TI-99, the Ohio Scientific, and the TRS-80. And we will see this again later on the Commodore 64 in 1983. Yes, I know, right? All right, so here we go. We're in the main control room. We can see a truck, heavy metal doors, obvious exits are east, west, north, and south. Where we want to go? Let's go west. Whoa, special effects in a text adventure game? It is not the first. But you got to admit, it is refreshing to hear some sound and some graphics when you're playing the game. This is designed, like they said in the ad, for younger children, so it is simpler puzzles, and the text parser, I don't see how younger children would have the patience to know, I can't do E. What? It doesn't understand that text parser. You actually have to say, go east. So kids, you got to type the whole thing out. All right, so heavy metal doors, man pinned under the truck. Obvious exits are east, west, and south. Maybe they are manly. Rock doors. Your command is go east. You're at the toy store now. We see an ET flashlight, Tor Autos, video games. Can we get video games? Wait, it's only a 2-word text parser. It won't get video. Yeah, it won't get video games because it's 3 words. That doesn't work. Yes, I hope not, Chiptune. You got model airplanes, and obvious exits are west from there. All right, let's go ahead and get that flashlight. We'll understand that one at least. But you can understand how rudimentary the text parser is and the way that this is presented compared to other text adventure games we've seen so far. All right, so there's our flashlight picked up. Let's go ahead and go west. Go back west. Can't do it. Wait, look again. You can see the toy store. Yeah, go west. Obvious exits are west. So go west. There you go. Wreck of the main concourse. The truck's overturned. Heavy metal doors. Now I just want to hear it in a heavy metal accent. All right, so after that, we'll go ahead and go south. We're at the main concourse. You can see nothing. Obvious exits are east, west, north, and south. So in one regard, this is kind of a survival text adventure game, which is kind of cool, where you're meant to get yourself through the earthquake or survive the earthquake and also rescue some people as well. So it has okay elements, but of all the games you could play right now as far as text adventure games, it is lacking. Obvious is misspelled. Thanks, Marshall. That's the other thing, too. There's typos in the game. It doesn't seem as polished as other text adventure games. It honestly reminds me, and we said the same thing for Haunted House, which is it's like we're playing something that was part of a bargain bin or a compilation of several text adventure games. But no, this is just one game that you would play in 1982. All right, let's go ahead and go east. We're at the grocery store. We can see baking soda, chocolate bars, apples. Can we get apples? It should understand that. Yeah, there we go. Now we're carrying apples and an ET flashlight. Wait, ET flashlight? Like it's from the movie? That's awesome. Yeah, Chiptune's already thrown out 2 stars. I'm not going to play any more of Earthquake. That is kind of the taste of what you get for the text adventure game. We don't need to play too much, but of all the games you can play right now on home computers, yeah, I agree. I would say 2 stars. It'd be around the bad range. In a way, it's not fair because it's guaranteed or geared for younger children. I am not a younger child, so I'm not the demographic, but I'll still say 2 stars. The best of the bad of all the games you can play right now on a home computer. That's right, Manly. All right, let's see where we're going now. We're back on the TRS-80 color computer. Let's play El Diablero. I'm not familiar with this one. We do have a couple of screenshots from advertisements you'd see at the time. The color computer has it all. Yes, it does. Oh, by the way, on the VIC-20, that was our 278th VIC-20 game we played so far on the show. So to compare to the home computer releases of what would be possible out there, TRS-80 is still a lot, 138 games now of what we're up to. So this one is ComputerWare's 7th game that we played so far on the show. You can see they have both fun and work or fun and games and home and work, and El Diablero. You awake days in the middle of the desert. Another middle of the desert text adventure game? Okay. Your mentor sorcerer has disappeared and you face El Diablero alone. Pure adventure. And another one here at the top, same thing. Awake in the desert shows us our prices with a few other games we've seen so far too. Yes. We need a heavy metal mixtape for the last one. And there's the example of the screenshot. El Diablero with a cool name is simply just another text adventure game. Let's pop it and play El Diablero. This is by Ken Kalish at sometime at the beginning of October 1982. Ken Kalish, we've already seen, this is the 7th game that we've seen so far on the show. Ken Kalish has actually done several games we've seen. Escape on the Coco and the Dragon 32. This is his only text adventure game that he's ever going to do. Starship Chameleon, we've seen Invader's Revenge, and arguably one of the best computer games you can play right now, Phantom Slayer on the Coco and the Dragon. All right, let's load in. Diablero, if I pronounced it or spelled it correctly. Oh, thanks, Marshall. Loving the info on Diablero. He's the enemy. We have to take him out. And no, we will not drink that yellow water. All right, let's go in. There you go, by Kenneth Kalish. Way to go, Ken. Press any key to begin. I'm next to a small pool of yellow water. I'm in the desert at the upper edge of a deep canyon. Don't drink the yellow water. I'm going to take that advice and not drink the yellow water. All right, let's head. Does W work? West? Darn, it doesn't. Okay, but this does have something interesting. But I'll explain it in the next version. Let's go ahead and just go west. There you go. I'm in the desert at the upper edge of a deep canyon, and I see nothing. Obvious exits are west, east, and south. Okay, let's go west again. There you go. I'm in the desert at the upper edge of the... Oh, like, so this game literally begins in the beginning of nothing. Like, you begin in the middle of the desert with nothing going on, and you have to find your way out. So that was our second go west. Let's go west again. We're still in the desert at the upper edge of a deep canyon, and go west again. Man, you have to draw the map for this one to find your way out. That's right, Brian, and I will. All right, so after that, let's head south. I'm in the desert, and there's a large slab of rock nearby. All right, let's go ahead and go rock. I wouldn't have known this myself. We've already played quite a bit of text adventure games here on the show, and this one is very cryptic. As far as puzzles go, this one's up there with some of the really, really cryptic ones we've seen from the United Kingdom. I'm on a large flat rock. It somehow seems pleasant here. This place seems familiar. Now, here you go. This is one of the biggest things I've ever seen for any text adventure game so far. I have to type remember. I used to practice the sorcery technique of gazing at this rock. You have to know to use the verb remember. And that's how you know that this was part of your training whenever because you obviously had amnesia or something in the game. It's amazing. All right, so after that, let's go ahead and gaze at the rock, just like it said. What do I do now? It has a bluish glow after we gaze at the rock. Yes, it is, man. All right, that's all we're going to get of a quick taste of El Diablero on the TRS-80 color computer. So I'm not going to rate it because it's essentially going to be the same game as our next version, but the next version has something else I want to show you. It's also on the Dragon 32. Let's check out El Diablero for the Dragon 32. This one is our 19th game we've played on the Dragon 32 Micro. Let's take a look at the artwork. There it is, the cassette case. Very cool. That looks like us. Exactly how I imagined it from the text adventure game on the TRS-80 color computer. Loving the people that collected everything for the Dragon 32. There's our cassette that we're going to pop into play, El Diablero. It looks the same. It glows the same. We do have the manual, though, now that we're on the Dragon home computer. Oh, yes. Nice. Welcome to El Diablero. And all machine language or all machine readable formats and the written documentation accompanying them are copyrighted. Yes, we know. It shows you how to load on the left side. You will wait dazed and confused in the middle of a desert. I gotta write these down of how many games we've played text adventures that are in the middle of a desert. You've been learning the techniques of a sorcery from an old man. The old man told you that an evil sorcerer or a Diablero has become his enemy. Now your teacher is missing and you are alone. Worse still, you can't remember those spells you already learned. However, you can remember a strange verse. Remember well the power word. Remember that which you heard. Awake to that which dwells within. Throw off the yoke of ignorance. You have entered the world of El Diablero. Here you must learn to acquire magical power in order to prepare for the final conflict with your enemy. To play El Diablero, input 1 or 2 word commands. So it's still a 2-word text parser, like look around, get book. You only need 4 letters of each word for instructions. And a list of objects carrying you type inventory like with the other text adventure games. Now here's where it gets interesting. Ken Kalish did something we haven't seen yet. To move around, you can use the arrow keys and the at key to indicate a direction, which means you don't have to type the direction you want to go. This is one of the very first text adventure games that has the text parser, but it also has a direct input where you can use the arrow keys to go in the cardinal directions. Look at that left arrow for backspacing too. That's amazing. And then they give some helpful hints. If you perceive the words, I am in danger, there's only one correct response will prevent you from being killed. There's no second chances. There's no subtle warnings which can prevent you from getting into situations from which you are not prepared. It's often useful to examine unusual things. And yes, it is. Notice they didn't say anything about remember as a verb. Someone would have to crack the game to figure it out. All right, let's pop in and play El Diablero. This is developed by Computerware, published by Dragon Data at the beginning of October 1982. I cannot confirm if Ken Kalish did the port for the Dragon 32, so I just left it as Computerware. All right, so for this one, we're going to load where we got up before. We don't want to play and wander in the desert exactly where we left off. That's better. All right, so now that we got our bluish glow gazing at the rock, what do we do now? Let's go east. I'm in the desert. There's a large slab of rock nearby. And then the other thing I can do right here after we go east is to go north. I can just use the arrow keys. Check it out. Ready? And go north. Yes, I'm in the cactus. I'm in the desert, cactus all around. So when you use the arrow keys, it's like it's auto typing in the direction. But this is interesting because of text adventure games don't do this. And then I can go north again. Nice. And then go rock. Oh, I can't do that now. Okay, don't go rock then. All right, so no, go east. Let's go south. Oh, go south. There we go. And cactus all around. You're in the middle of the desert. You get lost. Yes, it does, chiptune. Sometimes the punching does help. So I just wanted to showcase that it has the cardinal directions, but this one is an interesting case of a text adventure game. It's also the only game that Ken Kalish ever did as a text adventure. And obviously, the better game to be playing on a home computer would be Phantom Slayer. So hopefully, you got Phantom Slayer instead of El Diablero But it's all right for a text adventure game, considering all the other games you could play right now on a home computer. I know, right? More games should have used the arrow keys. This is the very first time we've seen it here on the show, playing lots and lots of text adventure games. And it's also available on the Coco. Dragon 32 was working a little bit better for me, so I showed that one off. So Brian's already thrown out 2 stars of all the games you could play right now on a home computer. I'm actually going to be a little more kind and say this is around average for all the games you could play. Because of that element using the arrow keys, it's given us something new. Not quite 3.5 stars, but still about average. Oh, that's a good point, Manly. Whenever we do text adventure games, I have a controller or joystick I've tried, but I haven't tried everything with the arrow keys. This one was advertised for it, so we could say concisely this is the first one that ever confirmed or told us that you could use the arrow keys. Look, Curtis. Yeah, he's saying 3, but it's hard to. I'll say still average. 3 stars are all the games you could play right now on a home computer. If you want to do King Kalish, though, Phantom Slayer is the way to go. All right, let's see what our next game is after this commercial break.
Save during the Sight and Sound sale at Target.
Oh,
Save
we're
on
going
the
to
Atari
Target.
Video game and get hours of fun for the whole family. Now only $129.99. Atari comes complete with the exciting combat cartridge. The Atari Video Game. Target sale priced at a low $129.99. And save on Atari's most popular game cartridges: Star Raiders, Defender, or Pac-Man. Now just $25.99 each.
Oh, that's pretty cheap.
The Sight and Sound sale through Saturday at Target.
All right, it's time to play on our Atari VCS, and this is Encounter at L5. Let's check it out. This one marks our 139th game we played on the Atari VCS, and this is by Data Age, one of the few, or one of the many publishers that are currently on the Atari VCS. This is the 3rd game by Data Age, and yes, we've already played Journey Escape. Encounter at L5. The front of the box is very generic, easily could be passed by. Sci-fi artwork, a moon in the distance. Yes, I'm pretty sure we'd see this one as 99 cents chiptune soon. Let's flip it over the back. Another Data Age video game. Hey, it has a paddle on the back instead of the Atari VCS joystick. Your battle orders are enclosed. Oh, we got to check those out. Let's see the other artwork for Encounter at L5. We have the grungy look and the cleaned up look. The actual scan and then the reconstructed box. Same with the back of the box. And then we have, as with the other Data Age games, it comes with Mindscape, the vinyl record, or you can get the vinyl record. It's not like included with the box, but it gives a nod to the other Data Age games down at the bottom. Warp Lock, Airlock, Encounter L5, Snake, and Bugs, which we've already seen Bugs and Journey Escape so far. There's the cartridge we're going to pop into play some Encounter at L5. And it says 1 or 2 players, but it is alternate play. You can't play at the exact same time. With an example of the screenshot, let's check the battle orders. So here's the manual for Encounter at L5. Beyond the orbit of the moon, a defenseless space colony is under attack from the ruthless megalites. You are their only hope. Armed with packets of antimatter, you take control of an antimatter launcher. Suddenly, the sky is ablaze with megalite warships. You must destroy them before their formidable particle beams destroy you and the peace-loving colonists of L5. It will take every ounce of skill and cunning at your disposal to blast the evil ones out of orbit. I feel like the lore or story of some of these Atari VCS games are just starting to loop upon themselves. I've heard them before. So we have to destroy the attacking megalite warrior ships before they get you. How are we going to destroy them is the question. There we go. It shows us how to stop the invaders. Not space invaders, different kinds of invaders. Hook up your system, plug your paddle controllers into the left receptacle, select the game you want to play with, a game select switch, and there you go. They got the difficulty switches left and right, and then showing the approaching speed. So you have lots of options with the difficulty switches. Very nice. Reset the game to begin. Scoring shows here. Wow, lots of points that you can pick up, and then it breaks down everything. Aiming cursor, what a megalite is, the particle beam, the death ship, and then the L5 colony, which is we're protecting a giant, massive green at the bottom. I do love it. It does feel that way, Manly. Oh, man. Keep the fire button on your paddle controller depressed. It locks the antimatter launcher in one spot and sends antimatter packets continuously toward the aiming cursor. Using the control knob on your controller, position the cursor so the invading ships fall into the line of fire of your antimatter packets. So it's like they're encouraging auto fire, at least here from the instructions. Releasing the button, launches momentarily disappears, immediately changes the new position under the aiming cursor. As each red death ship plunges toward L5, a warning radar will sound a special alarm to signal its approach, a special feature of Encounter at L5. That will help you rack up astronomical score. don't know if it's a true feature. There's 26 game variations for L5, and I find that refreshing still on home consoles when they give you lots of variations to play and lots of ways that you can change it up. So they don't have the cool grid like the other games we've seen by Atari, but we'll try it anyway. Let's pop in and play Encounter at L5. This is by Data Age, published by Data Age, later in Europe by Game World at the beginning of October 1982. All right. So the attract mode is the usual on the Atari VCS. It sits here and plays something to let you know it's on, and I'm not controlling anything. Oh, wait, am I? Does it just go? Whoa! It doesn't wait until we hit reset. I didn't hit reset. It was already in the game. I was just getting lucky because I didn't die. So it is a fixed shooter. Move left, right, and fire. Lives down to the bottom left of the screen. L5's getting blown apart. This is paddle controlled. Yeah, so it's not using the Atari VCS joystick. As I move left and right, I get those smooth paddle controls. Feels a little better movement-wise than the other Data Age game we played. But why is my ship disappearing? Look at this. When I fire, the ship disappears. Oh, I see. That's cool. When you hold the button down, like it explained in the manual, look at this. You stay in one spot, almost like a fixed turret, and you can aim like this. Oh, but I didn't protect the planet. I'm doing really bad at defending L5. That's pretty cool. And then when you let go, then you have a brief reprieve where your ship is invisible. So you can almost hunker down here and take out some of the ships on the side. Interesting. So it's a new mechanic that we haven't seen yet. We have the ability to fire a shot, and then we also can move the ship and do single fire one at a time. Let's see if we can get this guy. Nope, don't. I think he got it. And our shot's gone. Yeah, now we're at the beginning again. Okay, so yeah, you can switch out the different game modes. 2, 3, 4. The manual didn't break down different variations, but it is a 1- and 2-player game. You do alternate play, and there's 26 different variations for it. But this is really, really cool concept. Haven't seen this on a home console or anything. Being able to change from a stationary gun to the normal left, right, and fire gun. Yeah, after playing Demon Attack on home consoles, this doesn't hold a candle to that. Definitely on the Atari VCS. For wanting to fire and shoot at things, though, it's really, really satisfying. Right here, I'm just holding down the red button. The auto fire makes me feel all powerful, protecting L5. And you just rack up tons and tons of points, just like they said. It has what I'd like to call temporary fulfillment. Like, it makes you feel satisfied, but it's not long lasting like when we played on Demon Attack. Yeah, and the ship's getting closer is a nice touch. Reminds me of a game called AE that we've already played on home computers. Nothing like this on home consoles. It's not following the patterns, though, of AE. They were following more like a Galaga-style ship pattern. This is pretty simple. Come from the top, and then there you go, another game over. Nice. Marshall's giving it a meh. Yeah, easily can be seen as another bargain bin title. It does have a mechanic we haven't seen before, but, I mean, there's a lot out there. I mean, this is what we call a fixed shooter, and so of all the games we've played right now on home consoles, this one is the 44th fixed shooter video game that you could be playing on home consoles. However, with paddles, though, it's unique because it's the 5th one we've seen with paddles. Seawolf on the Astrocade in 1981, Astroblast on the Atari in July 82, Demons to Diamonds in July 82, Guardian in September 82, and then the one we just saw by Data Age, Bugs, but that was more of a shooting gallery game in October. So of all the games you can play right now on a home console, it's still around the average range. I see L. Curtis B saying 3.5, and then Manly 3.5, so a few above averages because of the game mechanic. It is an all-right shooter, and it was a little satisfying, but I still got to say, Chiptune is saying way low. Yeah, 3.25. Yeah, I haven't seen this one, but I did enjoy it. I had a good time. It's still around 3.5 stars of all the games right now on a home console. So I'm going to go, because of the different mechanic, I'll say 3.5 stars for home console games. If if you blend in everything that's out there with home computers, it's not really that original. All right, let's see what's next. Coming up next, it's time to go to the arcade and play Eyes. Yet another arcade game I am not familiar with. Let's check it out together. This marks our 457th arcade game we played on the show, and it's by Rockola. This is the 6th game we played by Rockola or published by Rockola. Jump Bug in June 1981, Warp and Warp in July 81, Fantasy in October 81, Demon in September 82, Mermaid in September 82, and this one is the newest one. They call it a stand-up winner. There's an example of the arcade cabinet by Rockola. Looks pretty generic from all the ones we've seen. There's the arcade PCB. The control panel is a 4-way joystick and a fire button. Pretty slick. Yeah, that's all you need. Alternate place. You don't get to play together. There's the arcade marquee for Eyes. Yeah, I know. At this point, could we have games that are called Noses, Ears? And I think we've already played as an eyeball. We already had a title. Oh, it's not a complete eyeball. We were just a character with a giant eyeball. And we have the manual for Eyes. Rockola's service and parts manual. Did they tell us how to play the game? Eyes is an exciting game. Consists of 8 fields, or screens. The player must control his eye by skillful use of a 4-way joystick. The player avoids shots from enemy eyes and shoot all bonus objects in the maze. The best strategy is to follow a zigzag path through the maze to avoid being shot and shoot bonus objects as quickly as possible. Hey, check it out. They're giving us tips on how to play an arcade game in the manual. That's cool. So there's the field display with enemy eyes and bonuses, and then there's all the points and scores you can play the game. And then after that, they go into all the technical mumbo-jumbo. Yeah, maybe this is something educational for optometrists. There's a bootleg version that's out there. The one from Sicaria from Italy is also there. And we're going to play the one from the United States by Rockola. Time to go to the arcade and play Eyes by Digitrex Techstar, Luis Sanchez, originally by Rockola, at the beginning of October 1982. Here we go. I'll let the attract mode play a little bit. I have really been enjoying the chat. Everyone that's here for the live show has been superstars because watching the show later and seeing what everyone's put in the chat is really entertaining. I really appreciate it. There we go. So you can see it's another top-down maze game. At least it's showing here on the attract mode. This is a top-down fixed screen arcade maze game. And of all the games we played here on the show, I mean across all platforms, this is the 203rd game that's this kind of genre. In the arcade, this would be the 59th game that's like this. Not like a straight-up Pac-Man clone, but, you know, it's taking the same formula. All right, let's put a coin in. And go. We are in. I'm an eye. I look like I'm a bloody eyeball. So it's not just collecting all the dots. You don't walk over and collect the bow ties or whatever it is. This one has a shooting mechanic. So you have a fire button as you move around the maze. Not that it's anything fresh or new, considering all the games that you could be playing on the arcade right now. If you had a fixed screen, top-down maze game, just like this, with shooting, this would be the 23rd game we've played with this kind of mechanic. You know, the more popular ones that are out there are like Targ variants, and then Tranquilizer Gun, Wizard of War, and then on other platforms we have like Crossfire. So I like these better. It's just fun to shoot something, but this is so generic, so simple. And then we move on to the next level, so you can see they changed the stage in the center of the screen. We're on stage 2, or as they said, the manual, fields 2. And I bet they're going to start firing faster. Okay, I got to be on my guard. I don't know why an eyeball needs to shoot bow ties, but we're going to do it. In a way, the shooting mechanic of having to shoot to pick things up is like Solar Fox, which we've already seen in the arcade. We've still seen shooting games or top-down maze shooting games that you can move over and collect the dots like Pac-Man, but this one you have to shoot them. You can't just walk over the top. Yep, they're ready to fire. I need to be prepared. Chiptune's already thrown out a low 3 of all the games you can play right now on an arcade or in the arcade. Moving on to stage 3, changing up the color. Doesn't this feel like it's the formula that someone asked a CEO or someone high up in the company, quick, we need a game that people would like. They like maze games. Okay, make it a maze game. All right, they like shooting. Make some shooting happen. Okay, make it colorful. Make it have the sound effects that we need. It just goes to show that, I mean, when we first saw Pac-Man, this is essentially using very similar idea as Pac-Man. I don't know, the shooting's different, but as we go throughout time playing every single game, when games copy or rip off other titles, then the formula just gets a little stale. Notice that when we kill enemies, they immediately respawn, so they come back pretty quick. So you really need to go right for the, there it is, whatever you need to shoot and collect all those. So I'm looking in the chat to see another 3-star, which is our average of all the games you can play right now in the arcade. Yep, it feels pretty generic for an arcade game. Ooh, yeah. They're ramping up the shooting factor, similar to the way that they were changing the mechanics in, like, Marauder and Crossfire. It does seem like before we're done playing every single game, I will have controlled everything possible that's out there. Rich has thrown out 4 stars. Very nice. Yes, Starcade. Oh, and it's going down to a 3-star. Okay, so we can even put our... use the joystick to put our initials in. Nice touch. Oh, there it is. Oh, yeah, we got the high score. There you go. So that's Eyes in the arcade. You know how many arcade games are out there, or possible, you could play. Eyes wouldn't be as impressive or stand out compared to all the other releases that are out there. I still got to say it was all right as far as it plays. I see a 2.5 that's out there too, and Rich. So it's still around the average range. I wouldn't even want to say above average because of the simple mechanics. There's a lot of other games that are pushing everything farther than that. Yeah, and Spiders. Yeah, we haven't seen that one yet in the arcades. I'm going to go for 3 stars, saying just perfectly average arcade game of all the arcade games you could play right now. It has all the elements for a good arcade game. It's just not doing anything that drives it above all the other ones that are out there. All right, it's time to put the video game playing on pause. Next time on Chronologically Gaming, we're gonna get some McDonald's, some KFC, some Wendy's, any one of those restaurants, and we're also gonna check out. It's not Tarzan, it's not George of the Jungle. It's the 3rd game made by Sid Meier. That's it for today, and like I always say, nobody can beat us at our own game. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we missed any games along the way. This video would not be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and MAME. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every single video game. We have links down below that'll send you to places like our Discord and Patreon, and one that says all the video games we've ever played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are perpetually retro, and we will catch you next time.